Good afternoon and welcome to Beardychiel's Knitting Banter, episode 21, October Holidays. My name is John Glenn, better known as Beardychiel, and you will find me as Beardychiel on Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter. If you're looking for me on email, I am beardychiel@gmail.com. And if you're looking for me via the web on a website, my domain name is www.beardychiel.uk. Now, all of that information has appeared on the screen as I've been chatting to you. If you need it, pop back, pause and get it. For those of you who are with us for the first time, welcome to Beardychiel's Knitting Banter. I hope you thoroughly enjoy your visit. For those of you who are returning, welcome back and thank you so much for being here again. It's a pleasure to be back with you. It has been 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks since I last posted, and that is unusual because I normally try, or I like to try and be a bit every fortnight, but in that time I managed to fit in some exciting things. So let me give you an update on what's been happening and then we'll look at some of them in detail. So since I last spoke to you, let's give you a rundown of what's going to appear in this particular episode and that will make more sense. So we have information on my trip to Sorrento in Italy. We have works in progress. We have some finished objects. We have the Inverness Knit Fest. We have forthcoming pattern launches and a knit-along to discuss. Some information on some test knitting that's happening for me. I've got a couple of new items of yarn in stock, courtesy of some really nice, friendly folk. What else have I got? And that's really it for this time round. So what I would say is you'll notice that we're not cutting between cameras today. I have a new microphone arrangement for the GoPro and we are testing that today. So any comments or feedback you would like to give me on the quality of sound will be greatly appreciated. I don't know if this will help or hinder what we've been doing, but we'll give it a try. So let's make a start. Since I last spoke to you, I have gone off and had a week's holiday in Sorrento in Italy. And while we were there, I had some time in Sorrento. We spent some time on Capri. There was an excursion to Pompeii, an excursion to Amalfi, and some absolutely wonderful dining out and some nice wine to taste, some amazing cheese and meats. And overall, a really nice holiday. But I did record some footage while I was there, and I'll hand over to me in the flat in Sorrento for the opening.
Morning, folks. Day one of my Italian holiday, and I'm sitting in the Airbnb flat that we've rented in Sorrento, and it's a lovely little apartment. And I'm getting ready for the first cast on of the holidays. And here we are, it's in a little bee accessories bag. And we have one 2.5mm needle. And we have one ball of yarn. And we're ready for the off. So, the first project this time round is a matinee jacket for baby Emily, which I had said would be coming. Journey to Edinburgh was fine. Stopped at Perth, had dinner with Eva Christie, a really nice blether, and shared some feedback on folks' impressions of Perth Festival of Yarn this year. Amazingly positive. I think everyone had a whale of a time by the sounds of it. And we agreed that we had both been sort of chilling out after that excitement, which was absolutely fine. And I don't know what I'm up to next. I'm going to have this week's holiday, and at the end of the week's holiday, I am going to go back and move on to the next set of work for Beardychiel's Roads Retreat 2018. I'm going to have to start to collect personal information for those folk who have booked. I've got their basic payment information, but I'll be asking them for some other information when I get back. And what else will I be up to? I'll do that. Anyone who's been watching on Instagram would see that in Edinburgh last night, the dragon sock prototype was finished. Dragon scale sock prototype was finished, so sock number 2 is on the needles, and I've left it behind. I thought I'm going to have something which is purely holiday knitting with me. So what can I say? At some point through this week, my trusty tablet and I are going to sit down, and the dragon scale sock will be committed to text and sent off to test knitters, and we'll see how it goes from there. One test knitter I am absolutely sure will be fine. Another one is going to be a pleasant surprise, I think, for the knitter. I don't think she's quite expecting to be asked to do this. The La Tulipe La Rose shawl I finished the night before we left, and it'll be blocked when I get back. There are about 10 minor adjustments that I want to make to the chart, which I've noted on my working copy, and when I get back I'll make those adjustments and it will be ready to go for test knitting. So hopefully, once you've seen this, I'm going to be in the position that we'll be ready for a knit along for the shawl, and I'm really looking forward to that. Is there anything else that I need to tell you at the moment? No, as I say, day one today, and myself, Janet and our friend Anne are off on a walking food tour of Sorrento, dotting from place to place, and we'll be going from bakery to bakery, cafe to cafe, cheese shop to cheese shop, deli to deli. I think we are stopping at one point to look at liqueur manufacture. Oh dear, how sad, never mind, we may have to sample some. We'll also be looking at some wine, and it's going to be an absolutely wonderful start for the first day, and then I think we're going to settle back. Had a lovely dinner last night in a little restaurant 5 minutes walk from the apartment. The apartment's right in the middle of Sorrento. It's right in the middle of the shopping district. It's 2-3 minutes walk from the train, 2-3 minutes walk from the bus, 4-5 minutes walk from the port if we wanted to jump in a ferry, and it's just going to be absolutely fine. I've been in Sorrento before, Janet hasn't, and it's going to be a fun week. And just in case we get stuck with some bad weather or something, great minds thinking alike, Anne and Andrew and Janet and I both packed travelling board games and things. So I think there could be quite a competitive edge, especially when we get to the Scrabble and the Harry Potter trivia quizzes. So that's all for this morning.
Project, each region of Italy is pretty much like its own little country. They have different special
Sorrento, folks, and I had an absolutely wonderful time. I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope if any of you get the chance, you go visit the town. Absolutely wonderful. Would recommend it to anyone. So, what we're going to look at next? Well, I thought we would have a look at works in progress. I've got 3 with me here today, which we can look at. Some of them you have seen before, some of them you haven't seen before, but we'll get there. The first one is this one, and this is the dragon scale sock pattern, and this is a second sock. Sock number 1 is finished. It's not been washed or blocked, it's just off the needles and was sitting in a project bag, and I brought it out specifically to let you see it today. So there's sock number 1. It's a gent's size 8 sock. The yarn is Drops Fable, and I can't remember the colourway, but I'm quite happy with it. The scale effect looks quite good with that slip stitch effect. Sock number 2 is just about ready to have its heel turned. That'll happen after this podcast, and I'll get on to the last bit of the leg and finish it. And then there's 2 or 3 photographs of that to take, and that'll be that pair of socks finished. The test knitting for that pattern has gone really well, and test knitter number 1 has finished her pair of socks. Test knitter number 2 finished sock number 1, and the last I heard was about halfway through sock number 2, same as myself. So the pattern is working perfectly. We just need to put some nice images into it, and we will have a pattern ready to come out to you. Now, the important thing and the interesting thing about that is that 2 of the indie dyers who I chat to occasionally online are working on special dragon colourways. I don't think they're quite ready yet, but I did message them earlier today to say, how are you getting on? There have been several requests for this pattern already, and if there are really nice colourways coming for it, I'd like to have them all release at about the same time so that you can get really nice colourways to go with this particular pattern. The 2 colourways that are coming are specifically inspired by famous dragons from famous books, movies, TV series, and I'm saying absolutely nothing else about them until the yarns appear. I'm really looking forward to them. I have an order from grandson number 1, Ian, who is normally with us from time to time, for a set of dragon scale socks, and his dragon scale socks will be coming, or will be knitted in one of these new colourways. Haven't decided which one, I'm waiting to see them. But whichever one he gets, you can rest assured that Ruben and Leo will probably get dragon scale socks knitted in the other colourway. So we'll be doing some kids size dragon scale socks, which I am really looking forward to. I did test knit half of a kid's size dragon scale sock while I was on holiday, and it worked beautifully. So that's that one. Work in progress number 2 is this one, and this is a reknit, another knit for me of the La Tulipe et la Rose lace pattern. The initial pattern, as you know, was test knitted in bright red, and I wanted it in sort of the greens and the pinks and the purples and things that I'd seen in Art Nouveau, stained glass and watercolours. So when I was at Inverness Knit Fest last week, I acquired some yarn, and because I had modified the pattern, I thought I've tweaked the pattern, I'm going to reknit the whole thing using the 2 yarns that I picked up in Inverness, just for my own benefit, to make sure that the weight of the finished project doesn't change with different fibre contents. Pardon me. I'm really looking forward to it. The 2 yarns that are here The green has come from Black Isle Yarns, and it's their 4-ply sock yarn. And I've forgotten the name of the colourway. I've left the label lying next door. The pinks and purples have come from the fabulous Mr. G. And again, the two labels are sitting side by side in the dining room, and I haven't gone through to get them. But here they are. I'm showing you them now. They won't appear later on in stash enhancement because you've seen them. They are absolutely lovely, really nice textured yarns. They're knitting up beautifully. And I'm about 60 odd rows into the first pattern repeat. And it's coming out really nicely. I'm looking forward to seeing this finished and blocked. So that's that one. Work in progress number 3 is in here in my Marvel Superheroes project bag by Little B Accessories. Hi Kirsty, how are you? And it's this. Whilst I was on holiday, I was working on 2 knitting projects. One which will appear in finished objects, and this one which I started towards the end of the week. This is a ball of... I've done it again. It's an Easy Knitter yarn. So it's a John Dunballum special, and I picked it up in Edinburgh this year, and I've left the label sitting in the dining room with the others. And this is going to be a single skein lacy scarf, scarflet, whatever you want to call it. For me, I love the colours. It balled up absolutely beautifully. It's knitting up stunningly, as you might imagine, and I am really looking forward to that. That is just a little fill-in for in between other things. If I want a break, it's a mindless, easy to remember little lace pattern. And that's work in progress number 3. And that's it for works in progress at the moment. There's nothing else incredibly exciting happening in there. But what I will say is that since I mentioned having picked up 2 of the yarns at Inverness Knit Fest, which was last Friday, it was a fun day. I had a quick drive, 2 and a bit hours, Caithness to Inverness. Spent 3 and a bit hours at Inverness Knit Fest last Friday. It was relatively quiet on Friday. We had plenty of time to talk to the vendors, watch a fashion show, chat to 1 or 2 of the people.
Hi guys, I've escaped from Caithness for a couple of hours today. I've driven to Inverness to the first day of the Inverness Knit Fest, and I've walked through the door, come in, checked with the folk here, they're happy for us to be filming, and they've said yes, go ahead, and I've already bumped into a friend. Look who I've met. It's Eva Christie from Perth Festival of Yarn. So I'm going to have a wander round, look at the stalls. I'll blether as I'm going, and I'll edit you down later on. See you later. Yeah, you're getting stuck in the front of my shirt again.
I just put temptation in people's way.
There's nothing wrong with that. Is that good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gold stellina.
Oh, that's nice.
Sparkle, everybody likes a bit of sparkle.
I'm going to see if I can get some footage of, as usual, trying to get near Di Gilpin's display is a nightmare. It's chock-a-block. Oh, some nice leather buttons. That's something to think about. You know, I was going to be very good today, but I might not be able to be good. I might have to spend money.
The whole point of coming here is to spend money.
No, the whole point of coming here today is to collect footage for the podcast.
Yeah. I'm doing brilliantly well. It's
You
the
said-
first stall I've been to and I'm buying already.
You said you were going to be good. I edit to my heart's content when I get home. Oh, it's still setting up.
I'm doing a boxy by Hookilocatelli at the minute in GC.
Yeah.
And they're 2-ply, 4-ply.
It's nice. I used some of it last year. Oh wow.
It's totally different, which is quite neat.
You know, I saw the lady and she took it to Canada.
Well, that one is going to Iceland. Is that okay? I don't like to just kind of go ahead and do it.
Hello, how are you?
Thanks.
Hiya.
Good to see you again.
Yes.
I've just been watching, but maybe we should get some super chunky.
Nah.
You're a die-hard play.
No, I'll knit with absolutely anything and everything. But
Some yak with us today.
you've got where? Show me.
Silk.
Yaks.
That's different. Oh. Yeah. Cosmic Strings trying to impress me again, and they have. What can I say? So, yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
It's very nice as well.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And some of it. Oh. That is a terrible temptation.
All of the yarn festivals around.
I like to go and have a look at most of them.
Yeah.
But there are some vendors who are more worth visiting than others. You come into that category. That is absolutely stunning. But it's too soft for the project that I've just finished. I've got the dragon scale socks, as you might have seen on Instagram, are out with test knitters at the moment, but it's just too soft, but the colours are perfect.
Yeah, it's too soft.
Although in saying that, if I was knitting for the grandkids, they're not quite so hard
That's true.
as adults.
Project.
Yeah.
Although, for the Art Nouveau shawl that's out for test knitting at the moment as well, that might be really nice.
Good thing.
Because it does reflect some of the colours, so does that one. Oh, I'll need to think about that, because it's coming in, it weighs in at 225, 230 grams, finished. It's a pain in the behind, because I did the design work, I knitted the prototype, and then I weighed it, and I thought, if I'd just taken a little bit out of that, I would have been bang on 200 grams.
Well, these are actually 120 grams, each of those.
Oh right, so that might, two of those might just do it.
It might, yeah. So, I mean, that's the reason, obviously, they've got yak and silk. That's why they're more expensive, because they're actually also 20 grams extra than the others.
So what are those going out at?
Sorry?
What price are they?
They're 25.
That's not bad.
Well, considering it's silk and yak in there as well.
Because at Edinburgh I bought Samite just before Blacker released it, and it was 25, and it's a lot coarser than that.
Okay.
I mean, for all its silk, it's got quite a tooth to it.
Yeah, right.
Because of the wool blend that's in it.
So yeah, that could work then. Good to know, because I always think like, oh, it's a bit of an awkward amount, 120 grams.
No, it works all right for me.
Yeah.
An awkward beggar like me, it works fine. I just have to decide whether or not my wife will kill me if I go home with even more yarn. temptation, temptation. Hello, Mrs.
Hello, how are you doing?
I got here.
This is Beardychiel. Actually, is it John?
It's John, yeah, we spoke last year at this event.
That's right, who lives in...
Thurso.
Thurso, I was going to say, I wasn't sure if you were Thurso or Wick.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
I worked in Wick until January when I retired. So officially, my life is knitting now.
Retired?
Yes.
I hadn't gathered that. How lucky, congratulations.
Yes, I retired because I almost popped my clogs.
Oh, well that's less lucky, but are you fine now?
I'm fine now, getting there. My lungs misbehaved and they're not going to behave again normally because they're permanently damaged, but not enough to stop me knitting.
Good. That is good.
Just enough to stop me doing silly things like trying to walk around Tesco and mow the lawn and exercise tolerance of a toddler.
That's a bit frustrating, so
Yeah.
you have to pace yourself quite carefully.
Yeah, slow and steady.
Yeah.
But we get there.
I guess you'll learn what you can and can't cope with.
So how are you? What have you been up to? Because I see piles of stuff online.
Starstruck. Christelle Seaforth's just bought some of my wool.
Wonderful.
Ooh.
Absolutely super. Some of the patterns are absolutely gorgeous.
So it's Emily that's designed most of the patterns. But John designs too. So I'm guessing, is this one of yours?
This is the beastie known as the Scarf. The Scarf, half shawl, half scarf.
Oh.
It's designed around a shawl collar from a sailor's uniform.
Very good. You've got a bat one that I really like, or a bat wings or something.
Oh yeah, it's in the middle of being typed up at the moment.
Right. That really struck me when I saw it.
Yeah, that's the one with the hood on it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lise from Treliz in Athens saw it in Perth and said, when's the pattern coming? Having just finished the work on this Art Nouveau lace shawl, the prototype was knitted in acrylic.
Yes.
I had a cone of 3-ply acrylic that someone gave me.
When you're playing and just experimenting, then
so when you're experimenting, that's fine. But I've also done some swatches in lamb's wool fingering, which it's actually sitting out in the car.
It's absolutely incredible. Well, that's my 4-ply there, and then the undyed there. But as I was saying to you, there's not a huge amount.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it. And then Emily's Flutter by Knits. Yes, 3, 4, 5 probably. So
that might be pretty cool. Yeah. But that might be alright. And the colours are sort of pastel enough and close enough to a lot of the Art Nouveau watercolours and things that were the inspiration for designing it. So that'll be good.
The other downside of the red is it's so hard to photograph, isn't it? It's so hard to get through. It's a lovely colour.
The first one, the first set of photographs, I'd finished pinning it to the mats, and it was under synthetic lighting at night, and none of the stitch detail appeared. But the shape was there, which was fine, and the lace looked okay. So I took some more the next morning as it was finishing drying, and they were much nicer. Hi. Morning, Sheila.
Hello, how are you?
I am well.
Good. You're looking well. I like this. This is very smart.
This was one of last year's patterns, and it's nice. It's a nice knit, and it's different having it's based on a sailor shawl collar.
Ah, right.
So
yes.
it's a weird shape compared to most scarves or shawls.
Yeah, but it'll sit very nicely.
It sits beautifully under a jacket.
Yeah. That's the whole point, really, isn't it? Yes.
And it's just merino, so it's nice and comfy for wearing.
Just looking at your pattern.
It's on Ravelry.
It's very clever.
You want to have a play with it, by all means. I didn't come to do sales, but
sure, if it happens. It's a really good idea.
I'll leave you one of those. And then don't give them
one
to me.
to the lady.
There you go. You'll find it online.
It'll fit very nicely. Yes.
It also fits quite nicely if you put it on the other way round and have it bunkle up like a cowl. Because once that's sticking out the front of your coat in the winter, it's lovely and cosy.
That bit in your coat. Yes.
It's done in. But sort of yarn is it done in?
That's
double knitting.
It's DMC woolly double knitting.
Yeah.
And it's 100% merino, that one. The only reason I did that was because the wool was in special offer. Sorry. I'm a tight git. You know that. Although in saying that, Janet's let me out today with
I do have patterns for these, yes.
Oh, temptation. I know. I've got some at home, but there's always space for more.
There's always space for more. Yeah.
There is. Oh, ripples.
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Not too bad. Just
Setup's looking fine. Where is she? She'll be here somewhere.
She's run off getting coffee.
Oh, she's not going to buy yarn then?
Well, she said she's going to buy coffee. Whether she comes back with yarn and pretends it's coffee, I go, yes, yeah. She's had some very slim excuses before, so I wouldn't be too surprised if she did do that.
Knitters are all the same, you should know that by now. Any excuse to buy extra yarn.
See, it shows you dangerous places, especially when you don't know everybody. Because a lot of the shows we do further south, it is, you know everyone, you know what to expect, you can...
I'll catch up with you later. I'll be back. How are you, Mrs?
I'm very well, how are you?
Oh, another show.
Another show?
Got to come and look and see.
Absolutely.
Despite the fact that I know most of the vendors anyway, and I know how nice all this stuff is.
I love your scarf today. That's
you like
really
it?
nice. Oh, I do. I like the colours in it. Is that one you did yourself?
Yeah, it's one of my designs.
Did you do it on your recent holiday? Oh, that's
No,
beautiful.
that's from last year.
Oh, I like the shape.
Yeah, I've never seen that shape before. I based it on a sailor shawl collar.
Oh, yes, of course. Victorians. Yeah.
Yeah, and the colours, I came across the 3 colours together on sale in a shop, and I thought, those I've seen together somewhere before, and they actually appear on the dress webbing belt of the Yorkshire Regiment.
Oh, really?
And I thought, designing something for guys to wear, men don't like the average shawl, but I find I'm happy wearing that, and it fits beautifully under a jacket because of the shape.
I think a lady would love wearing that too.
I've just had someone try it on.
It's going to sit beautifully at the back rather than a point. That's gorgeous. So you made a pattern for this as well?
Yes, the pattern's up in Ravelry.
All right, I'll have to go have a look.
Yeah.
No, that's stunning.
Have a rubbing.
Very nice.
Rubby, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I'm easy to track.
Yeah, I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah. And how is Sarah today?
Hello, how are you doing?
Not bad. I decided I would come for a wander. Nothing else happening in Caithness today, so. And Janet, my wife, said, don't you dare spend, you've got enough yarn in the house. I said, me?
That's me. You can't come here and spend a bit of money.
Well, that's true. And I walked through the door and walked straight into Eva.
Really?
She's floating around somewhere as well, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So that was a nice surprise, so I'll maybe catch up for a cup of tea and a blether later.
Yes. Great. That's a few faces actually.
Hello.
Having a good day?
It's good fun so far. Meeting people that I've known for a while. And you meet in other places, as you do in this sort of...
This circuit?
This circuit, oh god, yes, you just keep bumping into the same folk. And I've actually had a sales inquiry for the scarf I'm wearing, which is even better.
Can't complain to that.
No, I even remembered to lift a couple of business cards today, so I had something to give her.
Good for you.
Which is unusual for me, I'm never that well organised. See you later. Oh, not one low it. Ah, it's so tempting. Hello, how are you? Oh, I'm having a nice quiet day today. Drove down on my own, peace and tranquility. Janet's at work, couldn't get the day off. Oh dear, how sad, never mind. I dropped her off at 8:25 and she said, don't spend anything. That'll not work. So this is just the first wander round. I thought, first wander round, I'll do the filming for the podcast, then I can put the camera away and worry about what I'm going to do. After that, so have you been busy since I last saw you?
Yes, we've been doing workshops.
Wonderful.
Teaching how to spin
That's been really good. It's scary, but fun. They watch one tuition as well at the house. So
Right.
it's just kind of get people into the idea of Spain.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Perth was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Although, this is great because it's not too busy this morning. It's easy for wandering around today.
It's nice, it's not quite second street.
Yeah, no.
Downside with Perth is it's so busy. It's just constant on
But then again, there's maybe, what, 3-4 times as many vendors at Perth.
Yeah.
It's vastly different.
That was really good. But it's over two days next day.
Yeah, which will be fun as well. Oh. No, I don't have time to spin at the moment. I've got patterns that need to be tight. I need self-control.
I can tell myself.
That's not what. Spinning wheels sitting constantly in the conservatory. In fact, 7-year-old grandson asked for a shot, and I gave him some chops and got him started, and he spun about 1.5 meters of something that was not too bad. It was less than a chunky, and it never got to breaking point. So for a first attempt, but the coordination of keeping the foot going for a 7-year-old was too much, and after 1.5 meters he went, okay, I can do it now. And walked out. But not before he had his picture taken with his 1.5 meters of teal coloured yarn, so he was quite happy with that. And we sent it in to his teacher, and she said, that's amazing, absolutely amazing. So I have a funny feeling I might have to get some really cheap drop spindles, or we'll go into class and we'll make some drop spindles. And that's easy enough to arrange. And we'll go in and have fun with them for an afternoon or something. Every kid can try to use a drop spindle.
Back in the day, they're all spinning when they were like 8 years old.
Well, that's right. But you had to get your money's worth out of them. Right, I'm doing my first wander round to get my filming. I'll be back. See you in a while. Oh my God, you split on 2 sides of the place today. Hello, how are you today?
We always spread,
I should know.
Better. I mean, it's better than just having an empty.
It's much better than having an empty space.
We were given permission. She did say, "Oh, feel free to
fill up as much as you can." That's good.
That's what we've done.
That's
we
good.
still had to take some stock back to the van because there was just not enough space for it all.
No, but then you always travel with masses of stock, don't you?
Well, plus we're here for 3 days as well, so you kind of think.
Hopefully it'll all go. Yeah.
But we are going home tonight. We're stopping down tomorrow night. We stopped last night. We're stopping down tomorrow night. We thought if we get one night at home in between, then if we're desperate for one thing or another, we can
pick it up. That's not so bad. But
it's been good so far.
Oh, that's good. It's nice to get a good start.
Fingers crossed to stay the same. So are you just?
I'm just down for the day. I was humming and hawing, will I go, won't I go? And we're on childminding for grandson tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And I said to Janet, well, there's nothing else happening on Friday. I think I'm going to go on my own. I'm at work, she says. I said, I know, well, you've already been to one this year. She said, right, don't spend anything. And I slowed down as I passed through Brora this morning at about 9:30. I thought, oh, shop's open. No, I'll just go to Inverness.
For a sweater, and I think that the yardage for the original yard was like 200 meters, but I was thinking maybe going to 400 meters. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Hello. This looks awfully familiar. I think I've seen some of these before recently.
Were you in Perth?
Yeah. Running around collecting risk assessments that day.
Sorry.
That's alright, I'll get a hat on.
I just remembered facing, and I was saying to somebody earlier, I don't know.
I've cut my beard back as well.
I don't know, you know, if it's from school, from like the clubs that the kids are at, from here or wherever. And I just say hello to random people, you know, just on the off chance I might know them.
My wife doesn't object to me saying hello to random people. It's if I talk to them and try and remember their name. She said, never say a name, just smile and say hello.
Smile and wave.
Wow. So this is just the first wander round collecting footage for the podcast. Eva's here as well, I saw her on the way in. I said I'll maybe catch up with her later on for a cup of tea.
Together then?
No. Well, she lives in Perth, I live in Caithness. And we had both said that at some point this weekend we would try and get to the festival. But pot luck that we're both here on the same day.
Get a cup of tea and a biscuit at the stable.
Oh well, that's not too bad. Hello. Yeah, she just, we met at the door. It's wonderful. Such good timing.
Enjoying it so far?
It's nice to wander around and actually have space to stop and chat to people because it's not too busy yet. So.
And you don't have all the pressure as you did the last one?
No. No organisational involvement in this one at all, so this is good and more of a chance to look at yarn because I'm not rushing off to teach a class. It's nice. though. It's a temptation.
Well, yes, I will tempt you.
Yeah, but there's a woman more scary than you at home who told me I wasn't allowed to buy any more yarn.
It wasn't probably the see him. We see that's why we're called the secret stash, because what she doesn't know will murder.
Well, folks, that was Inverness Knit Fest, and it was a fun couple of hours. In that couple of hours, I had been around all of the stalls that were there. I had spoken to everyone. A lot of them were vendors who I knew. There were one or two stalls which I might have expressed an interest in had I not been driving. Glen Wyvis were marketing their gin, but because I was driving, I kept well away from that one. I was very, very sensible. But I did chat to some really nice vendors who I know quite well from meeting them at other events. Again, more yarn than common sense. So I brought a couple of skeins home for myself. I brought 2 skeins home for Janet. One courtesy of Sheila Hewitt, Dye Ninja, and one from Wee County Clare. And that has kept Janet absolutely perfectly happy. She's in the middle of making sets of fingerless mitts for the winter, so she added these to her fingerless mitt stock, which is great. Was it a nice event? Yes, the people there were lovely, so of course it was a nice event. Did I meet anyone who I hadn't met before? 1 or 2 people. I sat and watched the fashion show, and I was admiring the lady sitting 2 seats along from me. She was wearing a stunning Fair Isle waistcoat, and it wasn't until the end of the fashion show I suddenly realised her face was familiar. It was Hazel Tyndall. That's terrible, sitting beside a famous designer and not actually thinking, not having 2 and 2 add up to 4. Completely unforgivable. I did have someone come and speak to me at the festival, and I will apologise now. I asked you for your name, you gave me your name, and I forgot to write it down. And being in that age group where the white hair has an effect, I can't bloomin' well remember what you told me. But I know that you found the podcast via Nathan Taylor, and you were watching me on Friday morning before we met at the festival, and it was absolutely wonderful to meet another viewer, and to have you enthuse so much about the content and the style of presentation, so thank you very much indeed. I hope you enjoy this one. I did pre-record part of this yesterday, testing this microphone with Ian helping me, because you had mentioned Ian when we were chatting, and he was here for a visit yesterday, and he did some bits to camera, and the microphone wasn't set up properly yesterday, and I had a lovely piece of video with 0 sound. So I'm re-recording this today. This is take number 2. So what can I tell you? That was the Inverness Knit Fest. At the end of 3 and a bit hours, I had seen everything I needed to see. I'd done the shopping I needed to do. I'd spoken to a couple of the organisers. I'd done some filming. I'd had a nice chat to Eva, who was there. It was a fun afternoon. For me, it was worth the sort of 5 and a bit hour round trip, or driving time down and up, and the 2 or 3 hours that I spent at the festival. It was very, very enjoyable. And I have to say, because it wasn't quite so busy for footfall on the Friday, it did leave me plenty of time to chat to people. And I really, really enjoyed that. There was one stall I meant to go and have a chat at, and it was Knit Mastery's stall, not Stitch Mastery. And I forgot. When I passed them the first time, they were busy, and I thought, I'll come back round. And you know something? When I came back round, I completely forgot to go and say hi. So I feel really guilty. I hate ignoring people. So that's Inverness Knit Fest. So what's next? Finished objects. We have a few finished objects this time. So Finished object number 1 is this. It is a little Tammy, a little berry type hat. I was thinking, sitting watching the TV the other night, I wanted something that would take about 40 minutes. Just while I was watching a detective show, I didn't want to think about it. It had to be something that just sort of fell off the needles. This was it. It took seconds to think up and to put together. There was about a third of a ball of purple acrylic sitting, and little baby hat for Emily. It might get a purple and white pom-pom added to it just to let it sit, but it's just a little something to keep the chill off her head, and I'll pass that on to Megan and Emily when I see them. So that was number 1, and of course it's knitted in acrylic so that when she throws up on it, or when she throws it out the pram that gets covered in mud, throw it in the washing machine, don't worry about it, get it back on the child. Whilst I was in Sorrento, you would have seen me casting on work there, and I cast on this. This is again for Emily. Now the yarn you saw in the last podcast, I told you I picked it up at Perth Festival of Yarn from Mothy and the Squid, specifically for this little one. This hasn't been blocked yet, it'll get blocked today. I finished it while I was on holiday, just as I came back from my holidays. The twisted rib bodice has a massive amount of play in it. This measures about an 18-inch chest, although when it's sitting relaxed, it doesn't come anywhere close to that. And the sleeves look incredibly skinny, but have a massive amount of give in them. So it's quite deceptive. And the lace at the bottom is a fairly old, fairly classic lace pattern, which was floating around in the back of my head, and I decided just to use it. I'm happy with it. Megan will be happy with it. I haven't chosen buttons for this yet, and I have a funny feeling that they're going to be, I don't have any pale purple buttons, and I think I'd like just some cream or off-white, nice simple round baby buttons for this one. This one is not really a throw it in the washing machine and forget about it. It's knitted in one of Mothy and the Squid's sock yarns, so it's 75 wool, 25 nylon. It's really nice, it feels nice and soft, and I'm sure the little one will be nice and cosy in the winter for the first month or two. And that, I can't believe that she has rattled on and she's now at the 6-week stage. I mean, that has gone so quickly. Finished object number 3. 3.5 if you count the sock from the dragon scales, was the prototype for La Tulipe et la Rose, which is here. So Art Nouveau inspired tulip and rose pattern lace shawl. This one is, as you know, in bright red. I did say the prototype was in red because I had this cone of red yarn that Eva Christie had dropped off to me. I'm hoping this camera's in a wide enough setting, but if I take it, I don't even get tip to tip, I don't know, at full arm's length. So when this was blocking, it was blocking at about 7'3". It's relaxed back a little since it was blocked 3 or 4 days ago. And it's fine. It's doing exactly what it was supposed to. The tulip pattern and the rose pattern are nice and clear in the lace. The lace was designed so that the holes have replaced the lead of the stained glass panels that were the inspiration. How is it? I think it looks quite nice on. I'm happy with it. This one is red 3-stranded acrylic, which Eva gave me, which is perfect for prototyping. I don't feel as if I've invested a massive amount of cash in a prototype just to make sure the pattern was going to work. It was good because it let me find 1 or 2 things that I wanted to tweak and adjust in the patterns. Those tweaks and adjustments have been done, as I was saying earlier, and the reknit is underway in wool. the re-knitted version, when it's finished, will probably become what's the word I was looking for? One of my display samples for when I'm looking at shawl class teaching, and I'll keep it alongside the prototype so that people can see, as part of the design process, that prototyping happens. A good fun knit, thoroughly enjoying it. Started this about a day and a bit ago, and just going back to in between times, as I say, about 60 odd rows into chart number 1. I'm doing this, that was a 6 pattern, a 6 segment shawl. I'm knitting this as a 5 segment shawl just to see how big a difference there actually is in size when it's blocked. Again, wool is going to block completely differently to acrylic, so I'm interested to see how the contrast goes. My 2 test knitters for the shawl are Penny Lewis and Eva Christie. Penny has been absolutely wonderful at sending bits of feedback and helping me fault find in the pattern, cutting down on the tech editing. Eva has been equally as helpful, and partially their feedback and my own experience of knitting it has helped me create the 1 or 2 tweaks and rewrites that I wanted. So a final version of the shawl is basically now there. Well folks, we've been talking about works in progress, and I said I'd come to the end, and lo and behold, I was being a stupid old git, because I missed some. So we're just going to chunter back and finish those whips right now. Some of them are a return to things you have already seen, but because they've changed. I'll take you back first of all to this bag. If you remember, I knitted this for myself a month or 2 back, and I use it for socks. This is where the dragon scale socks have been living, and some of you may have heard Nathan Taylor mention knitted project bags, and he was sure he'd seen me with one, and he did. It was this one at Perth Festival of Yarn, and he was wondering, did the needles poke through the fabric? The answer is they did. How did I solve the problem? Well, it wasn't a problem for me until I was passing a sale of offcuts of fabric, and I thought, why don't I just line that bag? So I did. I used the offcuts and I lined my sock bag, nice bright yellow lining, stuck a little pocket in there, 1mm tape sitting in there, and this is just the perfect size. I'll stick the dragon socks back in. So there's 1 dragon scale sock, so that's 50 grams. Oh, there's the other 50 grams and the partially knitted sock, and my pins. I normally have a pair of scissors, and there's my little finishing and sewing box, a couple of stitch markers and bits and pieces, and they all fit in there quite happily. That can go back in the pocket. I didn't put a zip on it. I went for popper fastening, he says. Not able to get them to fasten at the moment. Get back in there, silly old man. You know something? I use this bag on a daily basis, and I never have a problem with it. And today, because I'm filming, absolutely everything that can possibly not look right is happening. There we go. It's done. Fastened up. Absolutely fine. Does what I want it to do. So that's bag number 1. As you know, there were a couple of other project bags. I've got them sitting here. Tunisian crochet entrelac and just Tunisian crochet, just changing stitches to create a squared pattern. This one, I put a decent fold over tab on the top, and inside I went for a pink candy striped lining and a green and white striped pocket because I had a little bit of green and white left over. And again, I've gone for popper fastening because of the decent sized flap on the top. This, when it's filled, is quite happy with 200 grams of yarn in it. It will hold
a set of 10-inch pins if you want them, but I tend to have circulars in most things nowadays. And yes, I did stick a handle in the side just in case I needed it. And yeah, it's some of the purple acrylic that I had for the baby's hat earlier on, and it's fine. For a project bag, absolutely perfect. That's fine. Project bag number 3 was the Tunisian Entrelac bag. Again, little fold over flap, pop studs at the top, and lined in green stripy fabric. The slight difference, the pocket in this one in 3 sections, just because I felt like it, and absolutely fine. You know, the linings stop things from poking through. They work really, really well, and because I have more project bags than I have projects at the moment, I did ask my Instagram regulars and my Facebook folk, did they think these would sell? Or should I sell one? Cast a vote, tell me which one, and they all said keep the sock bag. Well, I've no intention of parting on a sock bag, and sell this one. Now this one is a combination of multicoloured mohair, Beardychiel's hand spun Jacob, and turmeric dyed. So there's the brown, the grey over dyed to the sort of mottled green that you see here, and of course the bright turmeric yellow. The other yarn that's in this is an acrylic and wool chunky mix, and I think if I remember rightly it's a 70-30, 70 acrylic, 30 wool, and the mohair is 80 mohair, 20 viscose, and the Jacob is 100% Jacob, and a little bit of cream in the middle is the same sort of 70-30 or 80-20 mix. And I have to say, I'm quite happy with this one. Folk have suggested that this one go for sale, consequently it will go for sale, and it will simply go up on the Beardychiel website as an item for sale in the shop there, purchasing by PayPal or by Bax. Price £15 plus carriage. So if anyone's interested, one hand crocheted Beardychiel project bag, suitably lined by Beardychiel himself, can be yours for the price of the bag plus postage and packing, and that's it. So there you go, 3 more finished objects simply because they've had linings added to them, and I'm quite happy with the way they look. Beardychiel's a happy man. Who says that I forget about things? It's old age, can't help it. Right, I'll stick this in, and amongst the rest of the video I recorded an hour ago. Hi everyone, it's Beardychiel, and I'm not in my usual conservatory. I'm sitting in my office chair in front of my iMac at the back of the dining room, which is where I do my editing. And the reason I'm here is the video that you've just watched was recorded about 10 days ago. And in the last 10 days, it has been mayhem here. I've had so many things that I've been trying to get finished. Second knit on La Tulipe La Rose, trying to get this edited, trying to get ready for a couple of other bits and pieces that I've had to do, getting some accounts organised and looking at the costings for the Rhodes retreat and filling in the last of the blanks for that. And it's been so busy, I just haven't got round to posting the last section of video. Went to finish editing it today, thinking, I know what I'll do. I'm eating an orange, by the way. I know what I'll do.
I can put the last couple of bits of video together, upload this overnight, and it'll be a finished object. Well, that's fine, apart from the fact that the last 2 5-minute clips of video that I recorded appear to have vanished. Pardon me, I can't find them on any of my memory sticks. And I suddenly remembered that last week I went into Ian's primary school to help his teachers deliver a science lesson. And one of the things we set up as part of the science lesson was a video feedback booth, where the kids walked into a room where a GoPro camera was running, and they gave their feedback on the experiments they'd been trying straight to camera. And guess what? I cleared a memory card, completely reformatted it, especially for that event. And I think I deleted the last 2 little clips of video that I had recorded. So, improvise at the end of the editing so that you get to see the last bit of the video. So what can I tell you? Last Friday, the dragon scale sock pattern went live on Ravelry. To mark its launch, there are a couple of exciting things happening. Number one, if you have been following on Instagram, you would have seen that the 2 special yarns that I spoke about, Magma Worm by Otherworldly Yarns, that's Carola Cass, and Mysterious Dragon by Snuggly Stars, are both available in their Etsy shops. They both look absolutely stunning. They're knitting up into beautiful socks. I'm knitting with Magma Worm at the moment for Ian, and it is absolutely wonderful. It's really, really lovely yarn. Carola has made an amazing job. It's a Corriedale and Nylon blend, and it's really, really super. I am really impressed with it. I haven't had the other one come in yet from Gemma, but she's knitting with it and it looks fantastic. So they're both there. They've both set a price point, I think at about $15.50 for 100 grams. And what I've done is we've arranged a discount if you decide to order one of those yarns along with a copy of the Dragon Scale Socks pattern. So when you order your yarn, tell them it's for Dragon Scale Socks, and the yarn companies will provide you with a Ravelry discount code which you can then use to go and get a discount on the Dragon Scale Sock pattern when you download it to use. So, that's one way. I decided that there's nothing better to start off a new pattern than to run a knit along for it. And I thought, okay, a month, 6 weeks will probably be enough. So I have set up a Ravelry group. Within my Ravelry group, I've set up a new thread called Dragon Scale Cal. And in the Dragon Scale Cal first post, you will find a discount code that you can use for the knit along. The 2 discount codes won't work together. They're single-use codes. So you get one or the other, but not both. And knit a pair of Dragon Scale socks in a yarn of your choosing. Let's put them all together, and the winner will receive a skein of yarn by Lise Condon of Trailees, colour is Power Yarns, and one of her project bags. And all you've got to do in order to win that is get into the Ravelry group, post that you've started knitting your socks, stick some photographs as the work progresses, and show the finished pair of socks. I'll start a second thread for finished objects, and from the finished objects we will randomly select a winner at the end of the Cal. And I reckon the Cal should run until the 30th of November. So Thursday the 30th of November will be the last day, unless
a lot of people come to me and say, can you extend that a little? In which case we might make it run a little bit longer. But at the moment, Dragon Scale Sock Cal with discount on the pattern. Pattern's priced at £4. You get a 50% discount if you're buying the yarn as well. You get a slightly smaller discount if you're buying just the pattern for the cal. But hey, that's business. And I hope you all have great fun with it. The people who have started knitting it so far, Kirsty and Audibod, you both seem to, Kirsty Stitches and Audibod, both seem to be having fun with it. So they're the two who got in earliest and got in first. There have been a couple of other purchases, but I haven't seen the cast-on photographs yet. I'm looking forward to those. And that takes us to this week's launch. On Sunday this week, there is a Winter is Coming Perth Festival of Yarn one-day event. Selected vendors and a group of knitters meeting for, lunch and a knit and a natter in a shop at the Salutation Hotel in Perth. Admission by ticket only. Tickets available on the Perth Festival of Yarn website at www.perthfestivalofyarn.uk. Price £10. Come along and join Eva Christie, myself, some of the vendors from the big festival and a crowd of other knitters when we have an absolutely fun Sunday afternoon. Janet and I are travelling south for it on Saturday night. We plan to enjoy ourselves on Sunday and then come home Sunday night. It's this coming Sunday. Details, as I say, on the Perth Festival of Yarn website, and that will be the date of the launch for La Tulipe et la Rose. The first copies of that pattern and the test knit shawls will be available to view on that day, and the first copies of the pattern will be available to purchase on that day. So it could be a good day to find the pattern, find the yarn you fancy and make a start on the shawl if you're coming along. And I am delighted to be able to say that once that happens, the following day, Monday, the 13th of November, the pattern will go live on Ravelry. And when the pattern goes live on Ravelry, there will be a cal starts for the Tulip and the Rose. The prize for the Tulip and the Rose cal will be posted on Ravelry for you. And I hope you really enjoy it. It's been a wonderful pattern to develop. It's been great fun to knit. My two test knitters have said they've had wonderful fun with it. So I look forward to that coming on Sunday. And that's everything that's been happening. I'm finally caught up. This is my last little piece of video to add to the end of the October holidays. Inverness Knit Fest, whips, finished objects, project bags, yarn acquisitions. And there are still some things running in the background which I will save for the next podcast, which will not wait 3 or 4 weeks. So I look forward to seeing you soon. So until then, this is Beardychiel saying, keep happy, keep healthy, keep knitting. Cheerio.